John Henry's animal companion. The clang of hammers echoed across the mountains as John Henry, a towering figure of muscle and willpower, swung his mighty hammer against the rock wall. His movements were rhythmic and unyielding, each swing creating sparks that lit up the dark tunnel. The railroad workers paused to watch him, their own tools momentarily forgotten as they stood in awe of the man whose strength was already becoming legend. It wasn't just his strength that amazed them. It was his endurance. Day after day, John Henry worked harder and longer than any man, seemingly immune to fatigue. Whispers circulated through the camps. Some said he had been blessed by God himself, while others claimed his power came from a pact with the devil. "Reckon he's not a man at all," one worker muttered to his neighbor. "No one human can do what he does." But what no one dared to say aloud was what they all saw but didn't understand. John Henry was never alone. Standing a few feet away, watching with an eerie stillness, was his companion, a black, wolf-like creature with glowing amber eyes and a silver streak down its back. Its presence was as much a mystery as the man himself. Fun fact. Break. Did you know that wolves are capable of running up to 35 miles per hour in short bursts? Imagine if John Henry's companion could match that speed. Unstoppable. What's your favorite fun fact about wolves? This mysterious animal seemed to follow John Henry everywhere. It never howled, never barked, but its gaze was piercing, as if it could see into the hearts of men. The workers began calling it the spirit wolf, believing it was a manifestation of John Henry's strength, his grit made flesh. Do you think animals can sense human emotions? Let me know in the comments. The spirit wolf wasn't like any creature the workers had ever seen. It wasn't just its glowing eyes or the shimmer of its fur under the moonlight. It was the way it moved, like a shadow given life. It seemed to disappear when no one was looking, only to reappear at John Henry's side when it was needed most. John Henry rarely spoke about the wolf. When asked, he would smile that slow, knowing smile of his and say, "It's just a friend, that's all. Don't need to understand it to appreciate it." But there was more to it than that. The wolf was more than just a companion. It was a symbol of his resilience. It seemed to draw strength from John Henry, or perhaps the other way around. When the days grew long and the work seemed impossible, the wolf would sit beside him, its glowing eyes fixed on him as if willing him to keep going. Here's something to think about. If you could have any animal companion to symbolize your strength, what would it be? A lion, an eagle, or maybe even a mythical creature? Share your thoughts below. The workers began to believe that the spirit wolf wasn't just a symbol of John Henry's strength, it was the source of it. "Ain't no man alive that strong," they whispered, "not without some kind of magic helping him." There were moments when the wolf's powers became undeniable. One summer evening, as the railroad crew worked to clear a rock slide, disaster struck. The mountainside above them began to crumble, sending a cascade of boulders tumbling down toward the tracks. "Get back!" someone shouted, and the workers scrambled for safety. But John Henry didn't move. With a roar of defiance, he swung his hammer, breaking apart the largest rocks before they could crush the tracks. His strength was incredible, but even he was beginning to falter. His hammer blows slowed, his breathing grew ragged. It was then that the spirit wolf stepped forward. The workers swore they saw it, how the wolf's amber eyes seemed to glow brighter, how its presence seemed to fill John Henry with renewed energy. He swung his hammer with a speed and power that no man should have been capable of, and within minutes, the danger was averted. Here's a fun fact. In Norse mythology, wolves are often associated with gods like Odin and Fenrir. Maybe John Henry's wolf was connected to something equally divine or something darker. What's your favorite piece of wolf mythology? The day of the showdown arrived like a storm on the horizon, heavy with tension and expectation. The railroad company had brought in the steam drill, a monstrous machine of iron and smoke, to prove that no man could match its power. John Henry stood before it, hammer in hand, the spirit wolf at his side. The crowd of workers fell silent, their faces etched with uncertainty. "What do you think, John?" one of the men asked nervously. "Can you really beat that thing?" John Henry smiled, but it was the wolf who answered. its low growl vibrating through the air like distant thunder. Here's an icebreaker for you. If you were in John Henry's shoes, would you take on the challenge? Or would you let the machine have its way? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The contest began, in the air filled with the deafening roar of the steam drill and the rhythmic clang of John Henry's hammer. The ground shook with each blow, and the spirit wolf never left his side. The battle raged for hours, the sun sinking lower in the sky as John Henry pushed himself to his limits. And then, in the final moments, as the steam drill faltered, John Henry delivered the blow that sealed his victory. As he sank to his knees, his strength finally spent, the spirit wolf pressed its head against his. Its amber eyes dimmed, and for the first time, it seemed mortal. John Henry's story became legend, a tale of man versus machine, of unyielding determination in the face of progress. But the spirit wolf's role in that story was never forgotten. Some believe the wolf was John Henry's soul, made flesh to guide him through his trials. Others thought it was a guardian sent by the earth itself, a reminder that even in the age of machines, the human spirit could not be extinguished. What do you think the spirit wolf symbolizes? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this story if it inspired you. And here's a final fun fact. In many Native American cultures, wolves are seen as pathfinders and teachers. Maybe the spirit wolf was teaching John Henry something about the strength within us all. As the tale of John Henry and his companion is passed down through the generations, one thing remains clear. Strength is not just muscle and bone, it's spirit, resilience, and the bond between a man and his purpose.